to get your information. Todo spoon to be conversation. Spoon, spoon, spoon television. Spoon, spoon, spoon.
Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Liberia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Morovia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Africa. Just to the spoon, you will know. The children crying for starvation, just to the spoon. You want to get a news update, my brother, to spoon. You want to know what is happening, Moravia, to spoon. Politicians want to make their decision, just to spoon. You want to know what's happening in the ministry, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. You from Bonjama, Maryland, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. If you eat get found, crazy like my brother, to spoon. You got a spoon TV, you got a spoon radio, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. You want to get a news update, to spoon. What? Yeah, Rastafari. Kilibamba, kilibamba, kilibamba. Kilibamba, kilibamba, kilibamba. What I want? Yes, party. Yes, party.
Spoon TV. Spoon. Spoon entertainment.
You want to know what happening in the ministry, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. You from Bonjama, Maryland, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. If you eat get found, crazy like my brother, to spoon. You got a spoon TV, you got a spoon radio, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. You want to get a news update, to spoon. What? Yeah, Rastafari. Kilibamba, kilibamba, kilibamba. Kilibamba, kilibamba, kilibamba. What I want? Yes, party.
TV.
Yes, party.
Spoon TV. Spoon.
Oh, yes. It's a great way to welcome you. And also a way to be back on the late night show, the late night politics on Spoon. I want to welcome all of you tonight. Thanks for joining us. Welcome. It doesn't matter where you're joining us from. Across the 15 counties of Liberia, from across the world. Maybe you joining us by means of radio, or you are following via the different social media handles that we're streaming on. I want to say thanks for joining us tonight. It's gonna be a great show, great
You want to
interaction here tonight.
really more of that?
This is where we talk Liberia. We discuss the issues.
So
We
what?
bring you the updates.
Just don't do
We provide the analysis and afford you opportunity
happily
to have your say on those different issues of national concern.
yeah.
I'd like to welcome all of you. My name is Nelson Colette.
Oh,
We're live across the Spoon Network, Spoon FM 107.5. We're live on Fabric Radio 101.1,
Gemma.
several other frequencies across Liberia.
Yeah.
Let me welcome a few of you joining us by way of the online platform. I see Joseph Sakor has joined in. Thank you for joining us. Andrew Gia is here as well. Andrew, thank you for coming on. I see Francis Ray is here as well from New Jersey, the USA. Jonathan Pratt is joining us tonight. Thank you for joining us. Matthew Boerma, thanks for coming on tonight. We appreciate you. Claude, Destiny Seaton, thank you for joining us. I see Fofi that's Fofi Valley Bio Jr. Thank you for coming on tonight. Thanks to all of you for joining us. I see Noosh is here tonight. That's Shirley's best friend. Thank you for joining us. Thanks to all of you for coming on tonight. On this edition of the late night show, the late night politics on Spoon, as we talk Liberia, as we discuss the issues, provide you the analysis, afford you the opportunity to have a say on the different issues of national concerns here tonight. Thanks for coming on. I see Da Moore, yes, one of our ardent followers. Thank you. That was it. Nelson, please go rest more. This guy is stressed. But thank you. I appreciate that. Thanks a whole lot, sir. Tatos Bois, thank you. Lawrence Colley, I appreciate you for being on tonight. Esther Akwe, Coco Zakura, thank you. My Arabic son, thanks a lot. Silosini Talu, thank you. And all of you joining us tonight. We appreciate you for coming on this edition of the program. This is the late night show. And it's going to be a very great show tonight. As brief as possible, we're going to make it because it's been a long day from my end here. But let's hope we can make the most of the short time we have to be on tonight. And again, I want to say thanks to all of you for joining in. Kindly share the program. I would appreciate if you were to share the show in your different group chats, Facebook, YouTube, um, just across your social media handles. So we have a great conversation here tonight. Kindly share the program as we take off this edition of the late night show. Well, there's a lot happening. There's been a lot happening across the country today. But most of you are aware that the biggest news, the most important happening in the country today has been from the legislature. After several months of the impasse, the political tension there of Capitol Hill, members of that August body decided to take a milestone today. An election was conducted today. Yes, so we're going to talk more about that and why this is happening. The chairman of STEM, Chairman Moba Molu, is saying that it was a coup and that the coup would fail. He thinks um, Honorable Kuhn, who has been elected now speaker, is still illegal, and he thinks the Liberian people will reject. Now he's using the situation to re-echo his July 17 protest. But following everything that happened up Capitol Hill today, there's been messages pouring in from different angles, congratulatory messages to the speaker now of the 55th legislature, Honorable Richie Nangwe Kone. And that has been one of the happenings. In fact, the big news, or the biggest of all of the different news in the country today, has been the speakership election. Um, in the country, and several institutions have commended Honorable Kuhn as well. The Alternative National Congress of Mr. Alexander Benedict Cummings has commended him as well. But while we're talking about this, the European Union, um, there was a ceremony today for the EU grant in the tune of some 62 million uh, dollars to Liberia for economic reforms. So the money um, was given to Liberia, um, or the money will be given to the country in direct budget support to boost reforms and strengthen the 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 economic or economic governance in the country, and is a part of some 70 million agreement that was signed today in Monrovia by the finance minister, Honorable Augustine Kwehe Gafuan, and the EU ambassador. They signed that agreement, and this money, a huge portion, is going to go towards the national budget. Um, about 7.7 million will support public finance improvements and help civil society monitoring and spending and all of that. So it's a milestone. This support is expected to run from the 2025 this year to 2027, and it's based on progress, you know. So it's a milestone today. The finance minister was there at the signing ceremony, the EU ambassador, and yes, that was a very impressive one there for the country, especially with the scale down in aid coming from our donor partners. You know, this is a good news. This is something commendable from the European Union. On the flip side, the Liberian National Police today um, received a donation of alcohol detector. Some say the breathalyzer or whatever. It's intended to detect as to whether a driver is driving under influence. Whether you're driving, maybe you take something, and, you say you're driving. So 25 pieces of alcohol tester were donated today to the Liberian National Police by the African Union Trading Company, owned by a U.S. Army sergeant by the name of Eric Twan, and it was received today. It is a big boost, especially with the great work that the Liberian National Police has been doing in the streets for some time now. The massive improvement we've seen in the way the Liberian National Police have gone about our activity, the professionalism, and all of that. So this is going to be value addition, further enhancing, the work of the Liberian National Police. 25 pieces of alcohol tester or breathalyzers were donated today. And yes, so there's a whole lot to talk about. Yesterday, we came across a situation with Councilor Arthur, not Arthur Johnson, but Seaman Serena Seafers, where he was being stopped by the Liberian National Police. He was on board his vehicle. One of his vehicles was pulled over. He was issued a ticket of 50 United States dollars for driving without proper document for his vehicle, not having the proper vehicle registration document. It was a scene. It was a scene. The former Solicitor General of the Republic of Liberia, um, one who was, someone who was just at that point, just recently, being stopped, being pulled over, and being issued a ticket. There was a little bit of back and forth. He was angry at some point, but he later accepted, that the police had to, issue him the ticket. He said he would challenge it in court, and a lot more happening across the country. We're gonna bring you all of the updates but I want to welcome all of you tonight, and thanks for joining us. The man who supported uh, Honorable Samuel Koga recently in the Nima County election that saw the representative winning the senatorial seat has taken issue uh, with the speaker. Sorry, he has taken issue with Honorable Koga and also Honorable Benedict. What are his issues? What are the concerns he's raising? Honorable Koga actually did enter the joint the main chambers of the House of Representatives today, but he didn't get to vote based on grounds that he has been certificated by the National Elections Commission after winning the election there in Nima County. And so, well, we'll go into that other conversation tonight. But let me welcome the team. I see the folks that are already here. It's going to be a brief show tonight as we've had a long day here today. Let me bring Mze, Abi Kamara. I don't know who pictured it. That picture, look at that picture.
That is doing.
Abi, welcome to the show, man. It's good to have you on tonight.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you.
Yeah. I know. Somebody said that Ara hitter they doing carry on the ground. Anyway, what do I even know? But Abi, if anything happens, if I be held in contempt, it's gonna be on you because you brought that photo. Though I was on that particular scene, and unexpectedly the producer, my guy Ernest Benai, he did capture while I was interviewing the senator at this very moment. But now I posted the photo. Everybody talking about the senator's hater. You know, they're asking if the senator went to Arab and if he went to Iraq rather and came back and all of that. But I said, I don't know. Who am I? What do I know? I don't want to be held in contempt. I carry my camera. They can't say they may not going outside again. No, please, I beg you. I don't know anything about it. But Ture, welcome to the show. Yeah, Abi, you want to end up? You're trying to say something?
No, I was just trying to say, it has been a political turmoil into our country. Now the stage is set now for them to be able to do the labyrinth business. So
Yes,
that's
sir.
what I wanted to say.
Ture, welcome to the show. I see your broom is beaming in the background. I don't know if the broom is still as powerful and promising as we saw it in 2020. But welcome to the show. It's good to have you. The straw
Bro,
in the broom
thank you,
started to
Nelson.
fall out.
Thank you, Nelson. Pleasure being on. AB, what's up? Yeah, Nelson, the broom is as powerful as it can always be. Without broom, obviously sanitation become something of non necessity, if you will. But with the broom, every home carries a broom. So we're trying to bring a broom to the national platform. You know what I'm saying? So the broom is here. The broom will forever be here, man. Like the saying goes, everybody has his time, and the broom time shall
Yeah, definitely. Ture, I just want us to jump straight into it. Let's do our opening, 1 minute. And we have just two talking points to move on, and then we can wrap the show up. Hoping that we can make the most of the limited time we have to be on. But maybe you want to do your opening just quickly. What's on your mind?
Yeah, what is on my mind? It has to do with the honorable speaker, the speaker that was elected today. That speaker is a man of the people. The speakers of the people, the man who the majority. And I enjoy his speech. They say, can't give you 5 minute speech. The man gave a speech in less than 1 minute. So that was to tell you that the stage was already set. The stage was already set, and I cannot, be waiting for me to be able to see the good things that this honorable speaker will be able to do during his time. Thank you.
Thank you. Ture, you want to do your opening? Let's hear you.
Yeah, Nelson. Nelson, thank you so very much. I totally concur with the last. One of our brother who commented saying that Nelson needs to get some rest. Nelson, even if you would have decided to cancel the show, for like tonight, it would have warranted some level of consideration, given the fact that you gave it all today, brother. And we want to say thank you so very much for bringing all of the happenings in there, and to dedicate yourself a time to be on tonight speaks volume to your commitment and your dedication to your craft and the Liberian people. So I want to commend you for that. But Nelson, look, at the end of the day, man, we can put this whole, to use a phrase that you usually use, hola balu, on the side,
Bumba.
and you know what I'm saying, and then doing the work of the Liberian people. Like the late great Kobe Bryant, said, that job is not finished, but at least we can go back knowing that there will not be the issue of having quorum and not having quorum anymore. Thank you.
Well, thanks a lot to Ray, and thanks a lot to everyone. It's a great way to start the show. Well, Ray, today was another day of Capitol Hill, and I need not say much, because everyone followed the activity of Capitol Hill today. After several months, over 7 months. Now, this entire thing started. Now, I'm not including the time when the signatures were being collected and all of the different activities were going on. But I'm talking about as of the time the fight was launched. It was on the 17th of October 2024. And from that time up until now, it's been one battle to another battle up Capitol Hill. And today, finally, we saw the legislature making a decision that appears to be bringing some level of peace, some level of calm to that first branch of government. And let's talk about that. It's very important that we go back a little into everything that transpired. Alfred, welcome to the show. Everything that transpired from the very beginning up until where we are now. Um, Former Speaker Kofi is in room with the president of the Republic of Liberia. A fight is launched at his back. He places a call, says, uh, I am coming back. I'm getting on a charter flight. I'm coming back today. In fact, while he's away, his colleagues, especially his confidants, the people who were on the major committees, Representative Marvin Cole and Representative Edward Flo, all of those folks, Frank Sarfoko, they prevented what the majority black, decided to do. The plan was all set to execute it on the 17th of October. But based on the action of the guys, it was prolonged until the speaker got back to the country. It's been one fight to another. The Capitol building even got burned in the process. Look, in the midst of all the things we're talking about here, the work of the Liberian people was being stalled for some time. There was a divided house. The joint chambers had one group. The main chambers had another group that could not constitute a quorum, and so they could not do business. The executive is stuck in a position where she has to make a decision, and finally, the president breaks the silence. That is, they're going to work with the majority bloc, the bloc that has a quorum. Well, they go to court. Court releases first decision on December 6th to say that, look, what you did was ultra viral. You didn't do the right thing, but a lot of people see it as an ambiguous ruling, and so everyone is claiming victory. Now, long story short, Capitol building is burned on the 18th, following the ruling that was issued on the 6th from the court, and we get to a point where there's reinterpretation of the ruling. Supreme Court say we recognize Honorable Kofa as the speaker. The other group, you are illegitimate. It sparks concerns. Even the Unity Party got into the picture to say that these people who are saying this, they got all of these other benefits behind the scenes. And this is where we are. The Supreme Court is divided, but not just that, but even the entire judiciary or a legal system in our country got divided in that the National Bar Association of Liberia was going on one side while the Supreme Court was going on the other side. This back and forth finally got settled today with an election. Honorable Kofa resigned. Next day there's an election. And Honorable Richard Nagwekun wins the election finally. I mean, I want us to start the conversation from here. Just looking at retrospecting on the past 7 months, what we've been through as a country. Was it worth it? Can we say that democracy has been at work for the past 7 months or so? Can we say that we've been able to set a precedent here? Can we say that this generation will be proud of the precedent that has been set right now and is going to help the next generation to make better decisions, wiser decisions? Is it fair to say that the executive handled this particular thing in a very great way? Did the executive handle this thing with wisdom? Did the executive handle it impartially? Has the dust been settled now as we speak? Now we're going into the voting process. The two candidates are in the race. Why we got the kind of result we got? But let's retrospect a little on the past 7 months. Liberia as a country. What can we say about the past 7 months as far as everything that's transpired right before our eyes? Cindy, welcome to the show. And I want us to start the conversation with Ray.
Yeah, Nelson, thank you so very much. Yeah, precedence, yes. Proud, not so much. I don't think this is something that we should be proud of. But precedent has been set. And it also speaks volume to how easily of a process it can be to actually remove a speaker. Maybe that's something we need to look into. Maybe, but again, you're talking about constitutional review, amendment, maybe a referendum to some sort. Yeah, because I feel like the whole process of removing a speaker seems to be something that people just use, as easily as they can. And like I've said consistently, if a provision is actually given to people to use, then people will use it. People use it foolishly. Some people might use it because they don't like the way the speaker dress. Maybe they don't like his choice of tie. They could use it for any means because number one is a provision that obviously gave them the power to do so. But yeah, Nelson, look, I've said this from the beginning. I did not like the whole process. I really think Mr. Kofa was in a very good position. He seems to be government friendly. At least some people say maybe I'm being very foolish to assume that. But from the get-go, he seems to be very, very hands-on when it came to hiring to all the government policies.
To Ray, and I get you when you say this is not something we can be proud of. We can be proud of everything that happened over the past 7 months, but can we say precedent was set?
Yeah, man. Yeah, precedent, of course. I mean, a lot of people look at it. Well, a lot of people look at like the Supreme Court being sort of like to put a point,
Yeah. So what do
not
you
being
think would be
respected.
done differently, Ture? What do you think would be done differently if there was a situation where another group up Capitol Hill wanted to remove a speaker based on what just transpired? What do you think would be done differently comparing to what was done in the past time?
Well, Nelson, like I said, we'll have to travel this path again. Unfortunately, I hate to break it up to my fellow Liberians. We're gonna travel. We're gonna travel this path again. This is not something new. I mean, at least from Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, she did it twice. And now President Bagai obviously have followed that suit. But this was not. I'll take that back. This was not anything that was engineered by President Joseph Numa Bagai. I'll take that back. It was not engineered by him. It was engineered by lawmakers themselves. And if the president had anything to do with it, is yet to be seen. But at least 2 times that it was orchestrated, like on record, Madam Sirleaf,
Okay.
put like her stammer on that. But with President Joseph Numa Bakai, there is no indication that the president actually played a role into it. And I think a lot of people are running with the whole narrative that this was, partly sort of instigated, or sort of encouraged or aided and abetted by the president. Like I said, man, people have right to say what they say, but his history will have to actually make that determination. But what I can say, Nelson, precedent, I agree with you that precedent have rightfully been, served. But again, this is not a precedent that is unusual. This is not a precedent that we haven't seen. We have traveled this path before. And like I said, if people can easily remove a speaker, like the way it's done in Liberia, then obviously there is absolutely no sort of way that someone can tell me that this
No.
happening again, or reoccurrence of this is not possible. It is possible, but let me end with this, Nelson. Let me end with this. This is good for our democracy, and the reason why I'll tell you good for our democracy, right? At least we can go through this process and not, you know what I mean. We did not get any sort of bloodshed or anything like that. A lot of shouting, obviously. People, mom and dad were sort of insulted and all of that stuff, but it did not result into physical altercation where people got brutalized badly, or people got hurt, or hospitalization or something like that, or the least. I mean, so that is good. It's good for the democracy to be put into protest, and people go through elections and they have their speaker.
Thank you.
It is what it is.
Thank you, Ture. Let's take Alfred, then we obviously going to take Mz.
Well,
Alfred, what can you say about the past 7 months?
let me first of all say good evening to our people again. I've been away for quite a while. It's good to be back. To be on this theater where we can exchange our ideas. But Nelson, to the question you asked, the last 7 months, in my view, were, you know, those 7 months were chaotic. It was a testing time for our post-war democracy, I would say, and it tells you how the Liberian people, um, over the last 7 months, expressed themselves to tell you that they are tired with chaos. They don't want chaos in our country. So they left it with the politicians to be able to sort themselves out. But yeah, is what I would like to say, Nelson, in terms of the precedents or what has happened or what we have learned so far from the ceremony. It's actually validate some of the conversations that we have been having over the years since we've been given this platform to be now. The level of corruptions that permeates itself in our body politics, especially with the legislature. It really exposed the legislature to the extent where we now know that the major problem that Liberia have been having over the years has got to do with the national legislature. People are not concerned about
How
people.
did they expose the legislature? I
But
mean, a lot of people think that the legislature is a political theater.
I mean, now see, people can say that from the periphery that yes, it's a place of exchange of ideas, so to speak. That is the way it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be a place where we exchange your idea for the greater good of the country. It's not supposed to be a place where people are more concerned about what they can get rather than what they can do for the country. So, like I said again, the last 7 months actually exposed the level of corruption at the national legislature, especially the House of Representatives. Nelson, if I were to ask you, so if your hand can lay on the clip of Richard Kuhn when he first attempted to be speaker, what was his statement? What did he say to his colleagues in terms of reformation of that particular house? And what he said today in that same manner? You will see high level of contradiction.
What
You
did
know,
he say today that was different from what he said before?
today he did not say anything in terms of bringing our house back to the respect that is
Yeah,
deserved,
because
in terms of law making, in terms of
following the
oversight,
electoral
in
process,
terms of the new vision,
no, I'm
that
coming
he
now. I'm
believes.
coming on that point. I've heard
Hello, hello, can
I
you hear
think
me?
Nelson interrupted. We can hear you after. I think it's for Nelson.
Okay, so I don't know. I will have to wait for Nelson to end my point. Yeah.
Pastor, go
So
ahead. We can hear you. We still like.
okay, okay. Okay, so like I was saying, gentlemen,
lost.
the last 7 months was was to me, in my view, it was very chaotic. It actually exposed our national legislature in terms of what the guys do that they turn to be politics.
Thank you.
Patrice Lumumba was right. P.L.O. Lumumba was right when he said the tragedy of Africa is that we are in the business of canonizing thieves, you know, and demonizing our sins. And he was right. We
Thank
we
you.
saw today, Nelson, let me end on this point. We saw today the kind of the level of shenanigans that were played in the political process. What did Koga go to do in the House of Representatives when an election was being held when he had no part to play? Why did he go there? He just went there to reaffirm, to intimidate people that have stood up with him, show that what they started, they should complete it. And that's exactly what they did.
Don't you think like other Liberians will go to in the chambers to observe what was going on? Don't you think as
Nothing. Wasn't this same Samuel Koga who kept our lawmakers in LJ hotel for almost LJ hotel for almost 4 months? It wasn't the same Koga who did that. So it's not surprising to me that the political game that was being played today was highly orchestrated and carried out by Samuel Koga. He finished his work today to make sure that Fonani Kofa does not remain as Speaker of the House. So the question we should be asking ourselves right now is that if for any reason Councillor Allah J. Fonani Kofa decided today to say he's not going to play that leadership role that we anticipated that he would do at the end of the day. What if he had not done that? Were we to have an election today? The answer will be no. The guys will still be very immoral. They will refuse to listen to the Supreme Court ruling,
and we're still going to have the same situation that we are having. The president has proven to be the general orchestrator in chief of this particular rigmarole. So the president cannot immune himself from this process. We've been saying it from time immemorial that the president was part of this, and he has succeeded. Let me
Okay.
just close on this quickly.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, what is happening in Liberia now? It should not surprise you in a not too distant future that we come back to the same situation that we are experiencing today, where a group of individuals can deliberately, intentionally refuse to live by the rule of law, including their own rules, to remove a speaker. Don't be surprised one day you will see a group of individuals come together and say the president should step down.
Okay.
And the president will have no option but to step down. Thank
All right.
you.
Thank you very much, Alfred. So, AB, obviously, the people selected their speaker today after what was a very, very tumultuous activity happening over there for the past seven to say month. So what do you make of it all? Maybe you are muted.
Maybe.
Yes, sorry for that. I'm saying that I am seriously joyful. I'm in a joyful mood. I'm seeing Richard Nagbe Kun being installed as the new speaker for the 55th National Legislature. I am moved. But to the question that Nancy asked, what has the country been doing for the past 7 months? Is the country been in a good conditions? Is the country been moving far or backward? And I seem to agree with the Batala boy. Because the country have not, that is their political activities. Their political activities are in no way stop the Liberian government from carrying on any functions. Their political activities in the National Legislature have not no way stopped for the budget hearing. Their political activities have in no way stopped the Ministry of Public Work for carrying on their constructiveness in terms of the road constructions. Their political activities have not stopped the educational sector, the education minister, for carrying on her functions. So that is a different branch. We understand, we have told the people that this thing it is not legal. It is more political than legal. Fanatic Kofa won a legal fight. He is a lawyer. He won a legal fight. But what happened to the political fight? Don't you know the very day the Supreme Court announced, people started to deflect from his camp? To tell you all that this thing here, it was not legal. To remove someone from the National Legislature, to remove a speaker, it is pretty much easy. Just get your 49. However way that you can go get your 49, just get your 49. If you get a majority of the people in your field and are saying that we cannot be able to say that on this speaker gavel, that speaker, no matter what it is, that speaker, his day will be counted abnormal. So I understand my friend and brother Alfred Kunowa. I understand his point, where he is speaking from. But let me say that this government did not orchestrate the removal of Fanatic Kofa. No. The president did not know about anything. It is their own memo. Why do you think that memo of the seditious member of the CDC political party, people that the CDC political party appointed, and they won the election to be able to be lawmaker, that they were prompting this plot against their own candidate. Because power is like crooking up, but quit to cancer. Fonatic Kofa was power drunk, if I may say. That is the reason why the CDC, it was lately that the CDC tried to come in his defense. It was late. Because the CDC, Fonatic Kofa has seen himself. Prior to that, prior to this removal, Fonatic Kofa had already told the people of District Number 2 that he will not be contested as the lawmaker anymore. So that means that he has something in his mind, which of course every Liberian has the right for them to be able to think.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, okay.
Come to the national legislature. The men started to implore all the powers and currents and small seditions and tiny seditions and so tiny seditions. The men started to implore to get the political appointment. The sedition.
Maybe, are you giving a historicity of this whole situation?
Yeah. In somehow I'm giving a historical study of the whole situation, because Nelson, it is right that we point out some of this doubt.
Okay.
Fanatic Kofa, that what prompted Fanatic Kofa into a serious trouble that the CDC.
But Ebi, do you think the 7 to 8 months that we've gone through this thing was of any help to our democracy? Do you think it was worth it?
When you say that it was warfare, I would say yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Why do you think it was worth it?
Because in the national legislature, it is not playground. The national legislature is a political ground. It's where lawmakers throw blow. It's where lawmakers, sometimes if you are not careful, we have seen it in other parliaments. It's where lawmakers gather and if I throw chairs. It is not a ground that you will go sing hallelujah. It is not a hallelujah singing ground. So this kind of activities, it is necessary, and it was cool. It was cool, and it was for us to be able to understand who are the political gurus in the land.
Okay.
When it comes to the national legislature.
Well, Ebi, we're going to come back to you. Let's take Sandy on this one, and then we're going to take Francis next.
Nelson and my friends here, good evening from my end. First, let me say congratulations to the Speaker, Rachel Nabekun, who has been officially, democratically elected today by his colleague to carry on the mandate of speakers of the House of Representatives of the Republic of Liberia. Now, this is what we have asked for throughout. What we have asked for is that the House do the election and removal of their speakers legally, following their rules and following the Constitution of the Republic of Liberia. Now, if anyone here sits on this platform or any other platform or anywhere to believe that what happened in the House was just a political fight and was not a legal fight, then I don't know how far they are in terms of their thinking capacity or capability. If this was just a political fight, the legal process won't have been followed today. Because it is not just a political fight, because it is a legal matter that must follow the Constitution of the Republic, the lawmakers went in today to do the right thing. Richard Kuhn was already identifying himself as a speaker, and the executive were already working with Richard Kuhn. So if Richard Kuhn had felt comfortable in that position that he was there legally, he wouldn't have stepped down to go to election. Richard Kuhn stepped down to go to election because he believed, he was convinced later on that your speakership at this point is not legitimate. And to legitimize your speakership, we should go to election to make you a legitimate speaker. And that's what happened today. And that's what we want to see. So congratulations to Mr. Richard Kuhn, Speaker Richard Kuhn, winning this speakership. Now, over the last 7 months, Nelson,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
the challenges.
Did the country benefit anything from this?
No, Nelson, Liberia did not benefit anything.
Did it contribute to our democracy in any way?
No. Liberia did not benefit from this. There's nothing to benefit. The country was very chaotic. We saw our elected representatives fighting among themselves. We saw one of the pride of our nation, one of the symbols of our nation, were partially burned because of this conflict. We saw that the works of the Liberian people was stalled. For the brother here to think that because the executive were proceeding with their work means that the entire government was fully functioning, then apparently my brother do not understand how government works. We need all three branches of government to fully function for our government to function. And the House was not fully functioning. So the Liberian people did not benefit. Some of the districts in the country were being denied their districts development funds through their representatives that were illegally dismissed by now Speaker Kuhn and his team. But Nelson, I think we can move forward. And we can move forward by learning from this experience and the other experiences, the other events that led to this. Like of what happened to now Senator Snow. We saw that he was easily taken out of the seat. I mean, he resigned, but that process was very easy. We saw that Speaker Tyler was also removed. It wasn't as easy as what happened to then Speaker Snow. But what we saw with Funati Kofa, his persistency, seeking the law, ensuring that the Supreme Court ruled in this matter, interpreted the ruling. Nelson, this would make it difficult now moving forward for speakers to be removed by just few numbers. The Supreme Court rulings and their interpretation becomes a law, clear terms law that must be followed moving forward when individuals in the House or in the Senate or in the House are thinking about removing their speaker.
Thank you.
I hope that we will not continue on this path. I will hope that even if we want to remove speakers, we can use the law, but we must be able to coordinate, collaborate, work together in the interest of the Liberian people and not in the interest of our political party. Liberia did not win today. However, Liberia can move forward from today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Cindy. Francis, you want to come in? Welcome, Emmy, and welcome to Fambule. I don't know why you guys coming up with the dark
shades and all of that. But that's okay. Uh, maybe there's a season. But Francis, go ahead. Let's hear your take on this issue.
Yeah, good evening, good morning to our folks everywhere. It's good to be here, guys. Good evening to you. I mean, today, I was very happy today to see that former Speaker Fonadikova brought some legitimacy back to the lower house.
Yeah.
Glad he did not just resign like Erin Snow and other people did. He stood his ground. And if you even notice, I don't know what Richard Kuhn, current Speaker Richard Kuhn, was resigning from. I don't know what he was resigning from, because it was not because of his resignation or whatever he thought he was doing. That's why election was held today. He could have resigned all he want. If Fonadikova did not resign today, yesterday, there was going to be no election today. So there's no legitimacy to what he did. But I congratulate Fonadikova. So people say, oh, why didn't he could have just resigned back then when the Supreme Court ruled in his favor? No. It was going to be the same thing that happened with Erin Snow and the other people. But I appreciate Fonadikova for standing up and making sure that they had election. We all knew the outcome of this election today. Like I always call these guys legal criminals, and they did exhibit some legal criminalities today. They didn't have to go jump through people's window. All this noise they were making. The comment section for those that are reading it.
Nelson.
For those that read it, they said one of the reasons when it started this whole saga was about then Deputy Speaker Fonadikova alleged corruption when he was a Deputy Speaker. But I can guarantee you, or bet my small paycheck, this whole thing about Fonadikova when he was Deputy Speaker will never be investigated. Our brother, our folks want to talk about, oh, this is not a legal issue, it's a political issue. Politics is interest. But whose interest are you seeking when you play all these games? Were they seeking the interest of the Liberian people when it started this crap 7 months ago? Absolutely not. And you will see going forward what happened. We knew
20 seconds.
Win today. I'm sorry?
20 seconds, sir.
We knew Musa Bede was not going to win today, but look at how he's presented himself. But look at the disrespect that the current speaker, the elected speaker, exhibited towards the Liberian people today. He just came on all phone and get it over with, pretty much. Because he knew he was going to win. And when you Google Richard Kuhn today, you Google shameless and power greed, power hungry on Google, Richard Kuhn picture will be right there. He's shameless.
Okay, thank you very much, Francis.
And you're happy you think you did something? Yes, you are the legally elected speaker, but you have no credibility. You are.
Thank you. Thank you. Family, you want to come in, and then we'll take Emmy next. We have to go to the actual election thing and the numbers.
Thank you very much, Nelson. Not to waste
the past 7 months, and that's the aspect of the conversation we're on. Was it worth it? Did it in any way help our democracy? If we have to do it again, what do you think we will have to do differently with respect to the way? When I say we now, I mean the lawmakers. What happens there at the legislature, since they are our representation? What do you think they'll have to do differently, given what have transpired already?
Look, Nelson, thank you very much for this conversation tonight. Liberia is growing, and our democracy is getting stronger. For us to reach to where we are, there'll be a lot of roadblocks, there'll be a lot of trials, a lot of tribulations. So these are all some of the major testing and artifacts that have been dug out that are going to show that our democracy is getting stronger. Look, in the grand scheme of things, this thing is just ceremonials. This who have been affected, this who have never happened, have people who been schooled in developed country, who been schooled over here in a first world country, the United States, knows that honor standard, honor professional, and organized rudimentary or running organization or leadership. They will tell you that if you in an institution and you have majority of your colleagues say they do not have confidence in you, the honorable thing to do was to resign and not to prove a point. That point that you wanted to prove got the country stagnated. That point you wanted to prove brought serious problem to the country today, and people running around saying or all kind of thing. But you know what? Our country has graduated and we are on a different level now. The Liberian people have seen for themselves that look, we know that there was something that was not done correctly, and we said it on this platform. The records are there. There was something that was not done correctly, but for once to resign oneself to fate is to be crippled fast. Why must we think that it is incumbent upon only one person to hold all of the progress of an entire branch of government hostage? And people say it should be okay, we should run with that. And now I can see somebody sitting on the show and telling us that if you Google somebody's name, they will say shameless. That I don't want to go there, but let me stick to the issue today because I came in a very serious mood today to just discuss about the progress of our country. But people who will always be really insult on leaders, that's their business, that's their own limitation, but that's their problem. But Liberia has reached to a point where our democracy was tested, and today it has been clear that President Bouaka pressed the reset button. The reset button was pressed, and we've gone back to status quo. That's why everybody wanted in the country. All the people in the marketplaces, they say, oh, the two people must go outside and let's go back to the drawing board. And they went back to the drawing board as per the constitution, and everything was settled today. Thank you, Nelson.
Thank you. Emmy, you want to weigh in on this just before we transition?
Yeah, thank you, Nelson. Forgive my googles, guy. I got something in my eye. But hey guys. Nelson, your question, I don't see you say over the 7 months, what has our country gained? I don't see any gain in our country. I don't know. Some people are saying that democracy, there was something some president said. I don't see what the president was, right? That was said. And they're saying that, next time it will be a different route because Fanati Kofa did this, he did that. The only thing I've seen different from Fanati Kofa and Snow, I did not witness Snow process, but listen to what people said. He went to the court, right? And then he got a ruling. I also said he was right? And then he came back and resigned, right? The only difference here is that Fanati took longer time. He dragged it. That was it. I don't see any precedent that was set here. That people saying that it was something that it was a milestone for Liberia and this one is going to be like this. No, it's the same old thing to me. At the end of the day, he resigned. That's what happened to Snow. Snow took the short route and did it. And maybe another difference is the Capitol building got burned. That's the two differences I've seen. Other than that, I didn't see anything that has said, that the Funati did and it's going to be set as a precedent that nothing bad will ever happen in the House of Representatives again. They will never do this again because Funati Kofa stood up for this, he stood up for that. I think people are just gaslighting the whole thing, the process. But the only thing I see here is that the process dragged on. That's it. That's the only difference. He didn't stay there. I mean, if Funati Kofa was going to remain there and get his speakership back because he went to court, because he was a seasoned lawyer. Like everybody has been saying, he shouldn't resign. He's a seasoned lawyer, this one, and so like that, and did not care what was going on in the country. That the country was being held hostage. But Fernando, she proved a point. I didn't see any point of approval. At the end of the day, he resigned like everybody else. That's all I see.
Well, thank you, Emmy. And Francis, I see your hand up. You want to make a quick point?
Yeah, nothing. I want to clarify two things. I mean, Amy said one that she doesn't see the difference between what Fonati did and compared to Edwin Snow. What the difference that I see is Fonati demanded that they will have an election to elect a speaker as opposed to that illegal process that they tried to carry out. It was the same thing that they tried to do with Edwin Snow. So Fonati Kofa demanded, I'm not going to resign. If I'm resigning, then we should go back to the drawing board and elect a speaker. And that's how it's supposed to be done. Even when they wanted to remove him, our brothers sitting here want to rein in some act that he want to be civil, but that's fine. You want to talk about, he didn't have the confidence of his friends, so he should have just resigned. He drag it on and on. So are you saying now, tomorrow, if 49 people say, okay, we don't have confidence in Richard Kuhn, we don't want Richard Kuhn should just leave it go to and just go sit down. Then that person can 49 people or 40 people say, we don't want a president, we got lost confidence in the president. Is that a serious government there? Is that how you run a government? Talking about Fernando Kofa drag this on too long?
Thank you.
That is embarrassing. You have to follow the procedure, you have to follow the rules and the law. And our Fernando Kofa did. He demanded that, yes, I will resign, but we have to elect a speaker. And yes, Richard
thank you very much, Francis. Francis, let me hold you there. Thank you. We have to transition. Now, let's go to the numbers. The numbers that came out today. Though we're still on this conversation, but from another angle. Two candidates in the race, Honorable Musa Hassan Belidi and Honorable Kuhn. And the man on the left, Honorable Kuhn, got 43 votes. Musa Belidi, Honorable Belidi got 26 votes. Now, the both of them represent the majority versus the minority bloc. It's no secret that following this whole issue that came up at the Capitol, at the House of Representatives, the goal was to remove Honorable Kofa, but within that cycle, that group managed to look at someone that they could use as their own arrowhead in the absence of Honorable Kofa. So Representative Musa Hassan Belete here happens to be the direct representation of Honorable Kofa. Why Honorable Kuhn remained in his same spot. But let's look at the numbers, guys. Did it come as a surprise? I mean, 43 for Honorable Kuhn, 26 for Honorable Musa Hassan Belete. So, but in the midst of everything we're talking about here, was there a decrease? Was there a takeaway from the minority bloc? Now, in a case where they were going by the constitutional requirement for the removal of the speaker, would they have succeeded in removing Honorable Kofa in the absence of resignation? Just considering the numbers that we saw today. Now, but another thing to consider when making analysis on the numbers is that there were a few people who did not vote. You take, for example, Representative Samuel Koga. He didn't get to vote because he has already been certificated. He actually wanted to vote, but the chief clerk said, based on the fact that he has received a certificate from the National Elections Commission, he couldn't vote. And you had other lawmakers. So there were 69 who actually voted. Samuel Koga would have made them 70, and then 3 others. So, uh, let's assume you add Honorable Samuel Koga, make it 44, plus the three others, make it 47. Would they have gotten the numbers? And why did the numbers go the way it went? Because Honorable Musa Hassan Belete here is a representation of Honorable J. Fonati Kofa, who has been Speaker of the House of Representatives. Why didn't all the people who were in the minority bloc, who believe so much in Honorable Kofa, go to elect Honorable Musa Hassan Belete, since in fact he was that guy in the room, but rather they left? For example, the person who raised the motion, who nominated Honorable Richard Nagbe Kun, was one of the frontliners with Honorable J. Fonati Kofa. Why all these shifts and all of these things happening all at the same time? I mean, let's take maybe 2 minutes around on this one. Alfred, we want to start with you, and then we'll take AB next.
Now, see, first of all, you have to understand that certain processes were not followed today.
What are the
On the issue of due process, right? So, with all we're talking about
When you
here
say
is
due process, what do you mean, Alfred?
um, an allegation was levied against Speaker Kufa, which led to this group of renegades lawmakers to have gone on what they call a majority black. Those allegations, as intimated by my brother Francis, will not be investigated. So, according to our law, if you accuse someone, the evidence, the burden of proof is on you to ensure that you bring all your proof, right?
Mhm.
In the case of the national legislature, we say we put it in black and white. We say, if you accuse me, let me have my day in court and make sure that I can, you know, prove myself not guilty or guilty, depending on the circumstances. In the case of Honorable Kofa, the process was not still followed. Some of the process was not followed. That he recused himself to be investigated. So the question you ask,
But wait, Alfred. How does he get investigated when the House doesn't have a leadership in place yet?
Nelson, if they were to follow the procedure from the beginning, you have a deputy speaker who play a very good leadership role today. I respect Thomas Parra for the role he played today. He really showed leadership. All right. So if Fonati Kofa they have agreed to come back in chamber, right? And Fonati Kofa recused himself, and the allegation leveled against him, proving that yes, of course, Fonati Kofa was involved into corruption and XYZ, they would have been right. But again, they wouldn't have been right because Fonati Kofa would have proven himself that he did not do anything wrong. Expose those majority, so-called majority black people, it will have exposed them that the only way they get to do order is to get brown envelope. And if they not agree, if you can't get them brown envelope, they
But
will
how
make
do
sure they
you know it
remove
would
you.
have exposed them? How do you know it will have exposed them when the investigation?
How do I know? The
Yeah.
investigation would have shown. The investigation would have shown that
How do we
that
establish
the
that the investigation would have shown?
eh?
How do we establish that the investigation would have shown
How do we
when there wasn't
establish
an
that?
investigation?
Nelson,
Yeah.
J. Fonati Kofa will have recused himself. Deputy Speaker Thomas
No,
Farah
no,
would
no,
have
no, no,
taken.
no. Alfred, don't take us back. Alfred, don't take us back. My
And
question is,
you ask a question.
no,
I am telling
no,
you.
you just said,
Mhm.
if and you made a very great point here, and an angle that a lot of people, including me, was not looking at, right? The issues captured in the resolution were there, that he did this, he had alignment with different institutions and all of that, all of those things. Those are reasons why they wanted him removed.
Exactly.
Okay, so he recused himself, he stepped aside, so there needed to be an investigation.
Right.
But now you're saying that they shouldn't have gone ahead with election. They should have gone ahead with the investigation and investigating. And you are saying that the investigation would have proven them,
Wrong.
proving that he didn't do it. It would have proven them wrong. So my
Yeah.
question is, how do you know that the investigation would have proven them wrong when there wasn't any investigation done in the first place?
That's what I'm saying to you, Nelson. Some of the processes were not followed. Because if they have done that, we're not just going to have an election today. We're not going to have an election from the beginning, from the very onset. We're not going to have an election. The investigation, like I say again, would have proven Jay Fanatic over right because they didn't have anything against him. Now, let's come out to what happened today. There was someone one of the representatives raised the motion that they should accept the Supreme Court ruling. Do you know that they play a blind eye on that motion? They never even take it into consideration. They never took it into consideration because if they had done that, it was going to also show that most of the things that they were doing in terms of the removal were illegal, and they knew that it was illegal, and they decided to go that route to play a blind eye on the legality and call it political theater. Everything was about politics. All right. So nothing. Most of the issues were not followed, and it's so simple.
Alfred,
Yeah.
again, the question was,
Mhm.
why do you think the numbers came out the way it did? Why do
The
you
numbers
think
came out. The numbers.
who supported the speaker who have been in that camp? Why do
Mhm.
you think some of the very people in that camp did not support the candidate from the camp, but they had to move over on the other side?
Again, Nelson, some of these guys were suspended. They were intimidated from the minority camp. Some of them were suspended, and owing to the fact that when the leaders die, everything behind is die. So we knew very well that once Fanaticopa resigned, he has no power to keep them moving. So they just felt like, okay, we just have to allow it to happen because it was written on the wall that eventually Richard Kun would have become the speaker. And they wanted to create the environment where they can have a good relationship moving forward. So they have to do something that they will, even though the vote itself was secret, but at the end of the day, most of these guys behind the scene, they know what they have done already. You know, the communication and everything that have gone through with the voting and everything. So the number speaks to the fact that we know that some of these people were intimidated, they will be suspended from our committee. And most of these people, they are only about themselves. So they're not standing for anything. All of them, they're not standing for anything.
Let's hold you there, Alfred, and bring AB in. AB, you want to come in on this one?
Now saying, it just sad. It is sad for all to be repeating this thing over. I said to someone the day before today that this thing had already been done, that the D had already been crossed long time. If you can retrospect, if you can be able to play the speaker, the accent, Honorable Speaker, Honorable Richard Kun, you have 5 minutes. And Richard Kun came, he spoke for 30 seconds. That is to tell you that the deal had already been struck. No matter how you turn it.
Why do you think the deal was struck that way?
Look, the 40-some members, they said that they don't have trust in the then speaker. That was the reason why the men wanted to go do that thing quick, before the speaker could return. But the men resisted. And the men went in the judge chamber. The men went there. The first day, if you can remember, the first day of the assembly in the joint chamber, the deputy speaker did not join them. The second day, the deputy speaker, until the third time. That is to tell you that in political argument, it is not worshiping business. It is not hallelujah business. It is not amen. No. Politics is politics.
Thank you.
And that is the reason why you said 2 minutes now. Hey, that's
Okay, exhaust your meaning. Exhaust your meaning, Francis. Exhaust your meaning.
Nelson, what I want to say, my friend and brother, Fonateko, he did it to himself. Fonateko did it to himself. Let me tell you something. The first time Fonateko returned, Fonateko went to higher sessions. He did not have the quorums. The second time Fonateko went to higher session, he did not have the quorum. Right away, you were instructed how you call that, the clerk, for them to be able to break the house of Senate right away, to be able to tell them that then they both house are joined, and then that there is no. But he did not do that. He did not do that. And that was one of the mistake that Fonateko made. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We actually having a short show tonight, so we are actually winding down now, guys. Ture, you want to come in?
Yeah, so basically, let me talk to my brother Alfred. Alfred have the tendency of trying to confuse all year sometimes. Alfred, you came here, you say the process that was done today in showing a new speaker was being done in a fraudulent way, did not meet a conventional due process. So Alfred, I want you to look in the eyes of everybody and tell them, say the thing they put there today was constitutionally incoherent. Is that what you're saying? I just want you to reaffirm that. I just want a yes or no question. Is that what you're saying, that it was constitutionally incoherent? You are muted. I just want a yes or no.
I said to your answer, impact, yes.
Okay, thank you very much, Alfred. So Alfred, even Mr. Kofa himself, he was impressed. He agreed about what was done today as a lawyer. And what I feel like the main thing that he wanted to get out of the whole process was to actually have the non-speaker agree that it should be put in record that the Supreme Court decision, right, should be upheld. Okay? And we didn't get any yes or no from the speaker now. But let's put it one aside, Nelson. Nelson asked a very good question. And that question have to do with what gave or what make the number to like change, right? That fast?
Yeah. And what caused the numbers to come out that way?
I'll tell you this, Nelson. There are certain lawmakers in there, the men are hungry. And the men could not afford, you know what I'm saying, holding that thing to go any longer. No, let me tell you.
So why I said I was different with what you saying now? You just hit a nail in the head.
Wait, let me talk my own. Nelson, let me tell you, the men knew that holding on to this thing any longer was not in any way convenient to their bottom line. You know what I'm saying? So, so the men contemplated. They really did. They said, you know what? My man, in as much we want to hold on to this thing, but it's not helping. Our man are coming in time. And Mr. Kofa, I made a millionaire, he good. Even if he go for the next 6 years, they make good. You know what I'm saying? So we're not going to hold any longer. And I think that's what happened. The bottom line, man. The men got tired. Money was not flowing as it should. And they just felt that, the best way they can really get themselves in a very, better situation is to allow this thing to go the way it did today. And look, like I said, Nelson, precedent, yes. Constitutional, give and take. Everything about this situation, everybody's at fault, right? The majority black, the minority black. In fact, the Supreme Court herself is at fault for giving a ruling that was unambiguous. Absolutely did not make sense. So I mean, we can all sit here and have our side, and we can all talk about how you know unconventional politics can be, but nevertheless, common sense still exists. And we I mean we don't have to be a lawyer to know exactly or to be a politician to understand what common sense or what constitutes common sense. And what
Thank
was
you,
done
Turi.
today was in the space, in the open. Everybody saw it. Mr. Kofa, he took, look, I respect that guy. You know, the way he took it today, I respect the heck out of him. And that's how a patriot would behave. And I think he did it the right way. At the end of the day, and let me just read this what Musa Ability posted, and that will be the very end of my position. And when I tell you how convoluted liberal politics and the politicians are, you won't believe this statement coming from Musa Ability. Musa Ability said, "We lost an election, but democracy has been restored. The House of Representatives, in the House of Representatives, liberal wins, the rule of law wins." Look, in as much, anyway, Nancy, I don't want to get in trouble any further. I'll just stop there.
No. Get in trouble. No. Go ahead. Go ahead. You have extra 30 seconds. Go ahead.
Forget it. Don't try it there. Forget it.
So,
Because I know you get
Sandy, you want to come in on this one?
Look, Nelson, I was not by any means thinking that Musa Ability will win this, even though I wanted him to win it. But I didn't. I wanted him to win it. Well, I'm speaking English. I don't know what formula is making sound, but I'm speaking English. I didn't learn my English. The good news is I didn't learn my English in Grand Cape, Mom. I started learning in Grand Judah. I wanted Musa to win it.
Yeah, see people, you're not getting guru, so you just forget it. Go ahead.
I wanted Musa to win it, but I knew very much that very well that he didn't have the number to win it. So I knew that he wasn't going to win it, even though I wanted him to win it. In the House, like in any political theater, Nelson, you will see that people will eat from both sides. There are people that will want to eat from both sides. Yesterday, we heard that Musa had 30 folks. We also heard from the majority bloc that they have more folks, right? So we saw the maneuvering of folks moving back and forth. At the end of the day, the people did what they had to do. For now Speaker Kuhn, who have held this group for many months with the backing of the Liberian people's money, taxpayer money, through the executive branch of government, you would think, there was definitely some financial upper hands there. Huge financial upper hands there. And what we know, all of us here know that most of our brothers and sisters in government, especially in the legislature, they are heavily corrupt and they are financially driven. It's always about them and not about the Liberian people. So we can assume here with a very close probability here that they took money. Now we can also speculate now, well, not speculate, but we can also assume here that some of the guys just wanted these things to be over with. Whether they fear further suspension, whether they fear delays of their operations, they just wanted to put this thing behind them and move forward. For me, I think if that was the position for them, that was a good position. This thing is overdue. Funati Kofa resign. Let's move forward. I want to end on this note, and I'm going to disagree with my brother Alfred for some few seconds here. You cannot carry on an investigation without leadership in the House. Funati Kofa was not removed. Kofa resigned. With the resignation makes the seat vacant. Even though my brother from Bannersville before today has been claiming the speakership. But we know that the seat was vacant. Immediately, Funati resigned yesterday toward knowing Liberia. So who's going to conduct any investigation on Funati if there is no leadership? You need a speaker. My man, mute here. When they give you the time, you got on mute. You asked me for 10 seconds, they don't even give you the time, you're already on mute. So we needed leadership to be established in the House for any investigation to be conducted. I want to say, though, that I'm asking them to now investigate Funati Kofa. All of the noise you've been making, he's corrupt, he did this, he did that, he did that. Do not say now, oh, for the sake of peace, for the sake of reconciliation, we are not going to investigate him. No, that would be so wrong. All of the fight, the burning of the Capitol building happened because of your accusations that Funati have done this and did that and did this. So now that you have the legitimacy as a speaker, we have recognized you now as the legitimate speaker, democratically elected speaker. Please go ahead and investigate Funati Kofa and come out with the result of your investigation. Tell the Liberian people now what exactly Funati did wrong and prosecute him. To the extent that you remove him as a speaker, you force him to resign as a speaker, go beyond that extent and persecute him. If this brother have done anything wrong to the Liberian people, according to your accusations, investigate him and persecute him. I think really that's all I have to say. But again, we're moving forward now as a country. What happened, happened. We just need to move forward. Rachel Kuhn is the speaker. Congratulations. I think Nelson disappeared. That's why he wasn't hijacking me. So
Go ahead.
Amy, can I say something, Amy?
No. The other people speak before Nelson come by and talk about other time.
All right.
Go ahead,
So,
brother.
all right. So I'll just go back from what Cindy was saying, because I mentioned that in the beginning. Part of the reason this whole mess we got in was, Funati as a deputy speaker was corrupt. But my Liberian people, I wanted to see how the people did not care for y'all. They don't care for y'all. They care about themselves. Now that Funati Kofa is not there, Rachel Kuhn is not going to open any investigation, because the people see Liberia and LFA meet. They say Funati here, let me for that so they can hear our own too. Because if they are not coming to eat our own too, they will investigate Funati Kofa. In serious country, you can just lie on somebody and they just say that person can sue you, sir, and get money for it. But like that serious country, Rachel Kuhn has no agenda for what he want to do as a speaker. He just or yesterday for the executive to like a magic wand to wave it like this and say, oh, let it bill pass. Let it walk upon the floor, the other one will stop him from coming on the floor. That's what Rachel Kuhn is there for. He's not a real speaker. He's a vacuum. He's a matter that take up space. And he will be used by the executive. He has no independent thought. He's not going to think independently on behalf of the Liberian people. He will just do everything that comes from great people. Because President Bogana is saying nothing there. President Bogana is running the country. So any great people said that what Rachel Kuhn is going to carry out. These last 7 months was an embarrassment for our country. But you will see, our brothers say, oh, the political issue, not legal issue. But politics is interest. Whose interest were they fighting for in the last 7 months? Not your interest, Liberian people. Not your interest. The last 7 months, there was no oversight going on. What I call mismanaging or misappropriating for whatever the case may be. Nobody was checking on that, and they will not even check on anything now that they are back with an embarrassment and on their hand, legitimizing Richard Kuhn. They will not do any of that thing. They just come back now to see, where we stopped chopping at the last 7 months. What did the chopping stop? Let pick it up from there. We're going to fast forward the chopping because every month, that's 30 quarter, they put a target to the amount they're going to chop. So the last 7 months, as a body, they were not chopping. Only few people are chopping. So now, all they got to start chopping now. So imagine what about to happen to the Liberian people. People like care about putting chairs in schools. Your children will be sitting on the dirt floor. But y'all be doing the I was there, south, behind there again. And they qualify, they're not protect again. Y'all will go there. Y'all will go there. But y'all will not sit down and band together as one people. Say, forget citizen, forget United Party, forget any other Liberian people. Let's band together and hold these people accountable. You have the power. But the way people there, you're always there to sit down.
Thank
and
you.
y'all less suffering, so y'all will enjoy it.
Francis, the other Francis, right? Everybody already.
Sister Amy and
I'm
everybody
not
on the show.
talking, Amy.
Yeah, hello, my people.
Except you want for Francis to go, then I can come after him.
For more, you can come after anybody. That's your era. I don't even worry about that. But man, Alfred, you're distracting us, man. They AFL, AWOL guy, I don't know. You're distracting me. My time. Give me time. Don't be putting that.
Francis, you just come here. I'm not even spoken, and you just rushing now.
So folks, I just come in. I just come in, but
how many
I sat
years you talk about
patiently.
it? I'm going to you.
Alfred, can you mute? Thank you.
Thank you, Sister Amy, so they can give me time to just express my part of thought. I want to say hi to everybody, especially my buddy AB. I don't know, he was trying to go on AWOL too. I don't know, intellectual AWOL. Or maybe he will go on sabbatical. I don't know, because he always going on sabbatical. But anyway, from all indication that I think across the board, judiciary did better at last with the whole saga. And then Funati finally showcased his legislative might. And finally, Richard Kuhn returned to normalcy. So, not too bad. But they burn their own building because of greed. And I said this in my little corner, right? That hopefully, Funati resign now finally, that they will sit down in their own corner and try to do everything humanly possible to legitimize the institution called the first branch. Because from all indication, Richard Kuhn will never speak. He proved all right. Everything we said was true. We said it with consistency, he was not a speaker. Number one. Number two, he also proved right that they never had 49. The number 49, they never had it before. Evident by the election results, before they will even get 52. But overall, I think this is my personal political observation, based on the game of the play. I think as small as the number was behind Funati, they didn't have money. Executive took the central bank and gave it to the so-called illegal people. I think Funati grew ahead of the game. From all indication, Funati, all we knew, anybody that hire you, they can fire you. Anybody that elect you, they can also remove you. But there are standards, there are principles, there are rules and regulations. These are the group of people they didn't follow it. While they put in place, backed by Executive Joseph Boakai, to pressure Funati to resign. And Funati, in my opinion, the way we saw it, Funati wanted to prove it that Joe Boakai is the one that instigated this thing, orchestrated it, and for sure he showed up.
How?
He took Funati to room to go speak to the Pope. May his soul rest in peace. Everything went the way it went. We return. Supreme Court came out with opinions as eloquent, educated, according to OP Media, over 30 years experience practicing law. The current Justice Minister came with kangaroo analysis. We didn't say he can't do it. But this is the first time for constitutionally mandated institution to interpret the law, and Justice Minister can interpret too. And the president go with that because that's what he wanted. From all indication, we saw Rachel Kunaki his chest. I'm a regime speaker because Joe Biden did not have any other priority except
Quick question.
for the speaker to come from his so-called alliance political party.
I have a question.
Now that
for
he
you
got it.
first, Mr.
All right, let me wait for your question.
Is there a crime for the president to travel with a speaker of the House of Representatives?
The motive is it is not a crime to travel with the speaker, but the motive, as by the way we do it now, the motive was to create the condition to remove it.
Right?
Amy,
That's your assumption.
Amy,
It's not an assumption. That's why we finish seeing the result. We see everything play out. So he didn't have that much political capital in terms of the vote. Joseph Boakai didn't have it. Kunwe, all the Yogo didn't have it with all the money they spent from Liberian people coffers. They're not their power from money, that our money. They building the brain, that taxpayer money will go there to fix it. And I can guarantee you, no big hand will go inside that thing. Those ordinary people that follow these people every day, they're going to jail, they will be there until otherwise. But overall, at least I just feel really good now that Rachel Kuhn have been elected legally and constitutionally. Now we can refer to it as a speaker and we can refer to Funati as from a speaker. At least the other impasse is done and Joe Biden can give all the agenda now to his regime speaker so they can do better based on their promises to the Liberian people.
Okay.
Thank you.
well, there's a lot more to unpack here after listening to all of my colleagues speaking here. Quickly to the topic. Look, I think my friend and brother Francis is behaving like the merchant of Venice. I don't know when he's going to get his own pound of flesh, because this issue, he has managed as much as possible to spin it in a way that he can blame President Bouaka. But Francis, I want to disagree with you even 2,000% that President Bouaka had never in his entire life orchestrated any plan to take Funati away to Rome so that he can be unseated by his colleagues. By evidence of Funati's own declaration on this network. Go and listen to that. I don't know whether that radio you say you bought, you came into the paper, you got to start using it. I think that you got to use it. Because Funati sat on this network and said it is his own revolution. He said it is indoctrinated in his Catholic belief that they must meet the Pope. And he sees that as an opportunity, being a Catholic, to go to Rome. So more besides, Funati had always wished to go to Rome. So when he heard that the president was going in that direction and there was an invitation, he seized the opportunity to go and meet the Pope. He said it on spoon. Go and listen to the recording. So
that doesn't change what Francis said, his speculation, because the president could use that opportunity to get a Catholic speaker to see under the pretense of going to meet the Pope.
Can you mute?
I'm not saying it's true, but you just verify what Francis was saying.
That's far-fetched, bro. I'm not speaking your language. I know we are not speaking the Queen's language, but the English that I know you cannot modify for me. Francis said something different. So I'm telling you that it was Funati's own Catholic belief that took him to Rome. It was not the president that said Funati are carrying you to Rome so they can unseat you. So quick, I just demystify that one. Francis start listening to that radio he got, and rather than thinking that you care for the old man. So I listened to my friend and brother Alfred. You know, I love the way Alfred can present a thing. But sometimes when Alfred presenting the thing and he start begging the question, then it tried to put me in a position that I want to come high on his argument. Look, Alfred, I've heard all of the missteps, all the lies, and, you know, the chicanery, saying the government money was given. None of you here have evidence. You sit on a show and you just and you know, you just vilify good men. You don't even know the person because it is President Bouaka you want to get at. So he said they took the central bank and gave it to people. In the grand scheme of logic now, in that alone have already defeated you and put you in a low corner where you'll be reading ABC book. You cannot sit on a show and tell us that they take the government central bank and give it to individuals to distribute it among themselves. And more besides, what happened today is historical. Funati put down a breading. Listen to his latest post. It was a breading he put down. This thing was dragged not because Funati wanted to hold on to it. It was because somebody else had their own ambition and told him to hang on to it. We listened to Musa Belete saying on the same network, and people circulated it on all social media platforms. It was trending that he has over a 1 point something million. That in the event, even the vice president came on the same show and said it, that Musa went to the people in Lima County and asked the editor that Funati will resign, but when Funati resign, he should get the blessing of the vice president and other people so he can become speaker. So you already know that there was a twist. Funati was not holding on to the thing because, you know, people saying that the law is the law or rule of law. That was not on the basis. It was because somebody behind the scene had their own agenda and they wanted to push it. But you see what happened? The reaffirmation of the people that say, look, we believe in you, Speaker Kun, to continue the mandate. Look, all of you here, don't behave hypocritical because you sat on the same very show and said the law is the law, they should do the right thing. Even Francis here, you always bring a constitutional book outside saying that, oh, let us go by the right step. The Supreme Court said we should do the right thing. And now we go back to Sadako Auntie, and now you're coming back here and saying something different. I don't know how you guys sleep at night when you keep misleading the people and you sit on a show to make yourself feel
you are the one misleading the people because you just got too much energy. You got nothing to do with it. So you just flip it.
Francis.
Who told you President Bouaka would say to Funati Kofa, I will take you to route to unseat you? Who told you that? That's an elementary logic you're pushing. Nobody would say that.
Francis, this is not.
They have something
You
in his
yourself, please.
Okay?
Land.
Francis, please me yourself. You finish.
Can you land,
Francis,
please?
I'm not even speaking of vernacular yet, and you still for me like that. If I were using a vernacular, then
Francis, hold your peace. We're coming for him.
Look, you said something, and I am not trying to say it the way you said it. You said that the president.
Give me extra time to be.
Yeah, you said the president planned it. It was premeditated that the president knew that it was, you know, he wanted Funati out. That's why he took him to the room. And I gave you the information that it was not the president who asked Funati, say, come and be on my delegation to go to the room. The president did not ask Funati. Funati had always had I told you it was a Catholic faith. He said it. I'm not saying my own thought. I'm saying what Funati said. So listen, one of the things I wanted to say quickly, Amy, before I conclude, Funati made a revelation when Stanton asked him. I followed the show. He said, "What will you have done differently that you think that wouldn't have caused this problem that we have today?" Funati said it clearly that the mistake he made was not to reach out to some of his colleagues when they pandemonium start that they wanted to unseat him. He felt that he still had control and he could still sit over there and because he was so sophisticated with the law and he was filled with the exuberance of the legal understanding. So he said that he was not going to reach out to their colleagues. But he said that's the mistake he made. He did not reach out. He did not do more.
Thank you.
To engage your people. But if he had engaged them, then the story would have been different. That's why he said on Spoon. So I'm not saying
Thank you,
things that
thank
I
you,
want to
thank you,
please
thank
here.
you, thank you.
Let me clear here. Thank
So
you.
I mean, just 1 second, please. It's going to be very quick.
if I give you 1 second, everybody want 1 second, Cindy.
It's very fast, actually. It's less than 1 second. If you allow me already, I finished.
Yeah, you already finished. Thank you.
My LU brother, who always uses a lot of big words here, pretend not to know when someone say the central bank was used, then his here want to raise red flag. How can you use a central bank on one person? It's impossible. It doesn't make sense.
Thank you,
Well,
Cindy.
there's something called hyperbolic metonymy. I'm sure you learned that in LU.
No, you gonna tell me about figurative
Thank
equation.
you.
Yes, so let me hear.
Take over the Jalahu.
No,
Hyperbolic
it's my turn. Let me
metonymy.
talk.
Symbolic
Let
way,
me talk my own.
symbolic way to accuse somebody.
Keep that in there
Y'all
for
mute,
Benji.
please.
When
That
you go
doesn't
back
mean
Benji,
the
you keep
entire
it for the
Turn
high
the
school
whole
student
show
like
off.
that.
This kid my guy with that allow me.
You can't keep me here for that thing. Keep it for the high school student in
Can
Benji.
y'all
I
mute,
didn't want to
please?
need it.
Somebody can you mute? Thank you. So let me have my own to say, okay? Because when I come back to this scene, President Boyga thing again, and I don't care how long you say it, like I said here before, and how loud you say it's not gonna make it any true. All of you, it's just speculations. Y'all have no proof whatsoever. And my brother Francis said, "Oh, it has been proven. Proven where? Who proved it? Who has the proof? Because you said it." So it has been proven. Can we also say that Musa Belede spend money like he himself admitted that that's what they
If
do.
Musa Blade spend money, he's spending personal money. President Baga is spending personal money. President Baga admitted that he's going to go with illegal people. That's an admission. That not me say it.
Can you
Can you asking? I just want to answer your
I
question.
did not ask you a question. Stop
Oh,
doing
okay. I thought you asked.
Can you mute, please? I did not ask you a question. Nobody interrupted you here when you were talking. Let me finish. And I think that'll be something. Y'all always come here with a disclaimer. Oh, we should respect each other. But then when it comes to y'all, y'all don't want to do it. Y'all don't do that. President Boyka did not disrespect the Supreme Court. He did not say he would work with illegal something. President Boyka said the Constitution and the Supreme Court define what constitutes quorum. Therefore, by that, he's going to work with whoever has quorum. Did Fonati have quorum and President Boyka refused to work with Fonati? I don't think so. So for us to come and be misleading the people because we anti-President Boyka or there's a campaign being ran, go get Boyka campaign, it's not going to hold here why some of us are sitting on this show. Because we will not come here and y'all be saying something and y'all scream it loud. We sit and listen to you. Then we want chopping your contradiction. Y'all want to be interrupting us. President Boyka did not force Fonati Kofa. He did not put him in handcuffs to take in the room. It is not a crime for a president to travel with the Speaker of the Nation, of the House of Representatives. It happened everywhere in the world. Okay? Should you say this was a coincidence? It could have been. What proof do you have? But that is the motive. The motive. What? How did you get that motive? Because you decided that is your motive, so that makes it everybody else's motive? No, that's not how it works. That's what you want to believe. That's not what I believe. That's not what all of Liberians believe. So what makes it your? Did you do any investigation that proved that President Boyka snuck Fonati Kofa from out of the country because he wanted people to remove him? That is something that you believe that you want to puff out there. That does not make it a fact. And Fonati Kofa didn't have an election today because Fonati Kofa forced them to. They had an election because Richard Kuhn wanted to be seen legitimate. That how everyone are calling him, or everyone are calling him Regine this and just one speaker. He wanted the cloud to settle. He wanted all the plenty talking to go away, even though it still did not. It's still going on. But that was the whole plan of this speaker thing. He knew he was going to win it. He could have said, "I'm not doing it," and said right there. What were we going to? We're just going to come here and talk plenty like we always do. Was that going to change anything? No. But he wanted the whole things to go away. That's why he accepted to do it. Fonati Kofa wouldn't have done anything. If he could have done anything, everything else had been going on, he would have been changed it. So for all the executive doing the one year and did the one and giving him a cash, The executive was there when Richard Coon ran for speaker the last time, and he never won it. Why didn't they give him a bucket or something? Then when they sit there and then they can replace the person money they got it from, they could have done that also. So all these speculations because we want to believe that, oh, I said it, it has been proven. No, nothing has been proven. You said it and you're still saying that that's what you believe. It doesn't make it the truth. It doesn't make it any facts. It doesn't give us any investigation or reports that this is what really happened. All of us, what we just saying is speculations and what we want to believe from the side that we sit on. The whole thing is, my brother, for instance, said, oh, they will not be doing this, they will not be doing that. When President Baka also came out and said, I'm not going to sit here and let the country be held hostage. So I'm going to work with whoever has quorum. We still sitting here talking, say, oh, he the one started the whole thing. When he was trying to call them to make things right, they kept refusing. And he said he's not going to sit there and let it to drag on while it's stopping his agenda or his work. What is wrong with that? How is he going against the Constitution and the Supreme Court ruling on that again? When that is also, quorum is also in it. The same Supreme Court that will come in and something. And the same Edwin Slow today said that the House of Representatives is a strange place. We can be sitting here saying that 1 + 1 is 2. They're in there, they have their own way of defining things, they have their own law, they have how there's something. They can say a 1.5, they can say a 5, and you and I looking at 2, they're calling it 1.5, and they're looking at and they're calling it 5. That's a strange place, like he said. It happened to him before. And he coming out and making the admission. So what are y'all saying here, all saying here and talking about? He doesn't know the law in there that y'all know it, or that us here know it, and not the person who been there before that want to come here. They also asking, could President Bouakai force these people to do that? He said no. There's no way he could have done that. This man don't want President Bouakai to succeed. He said that. So what are we sitting here talking about that the president, you central bank, he put this behind this person, he did this and did that. It's all speculation. It's all what you want to believe because you want to be anti whatever. What went on in there got to do with those House of those lawmakers, and the blame should be put on it and not trying to bring somebody else in there because you want to have a day to bash a president every day, even though the topic does not something on him. That's all I gotta say. But nothing that anybody want to tell the second they can have it. All right, I'll put your hand on. Friends, go.
I'll put my hand on first.
President.
My hand on first.
No, Afro was something first. The Afro go.
Thank you very much. Let me remind those of us who are fanatics of President Joseph Boakai. Let me say this to all of us. No one have said here that the way the election went today. Okay, let me just say this: the way our democracy or our government structure in Liberia is, nothing happens in our country without the executive. The president has enormous power. So anything that the president wants, it happens. So we will remain resolute and remain consistent to say that the 7-month chaos that we saw was as a result of the president's action. You like it, you don't want to get it at your opinion. But the truth of the matter here is what happened in our country, the president cannot be immune of it. Thank you.
That's your truth. Go ahead, Ture. No, that Francis J. Francis J will offer. Yeah.
One thing I want to point out here, I mean, I'm not saying that, President Bouakai taking Fonadi Kofa to room was a setup, but I just want to clear something up because while our brother trying to break his neck being formula, saying Fonadi Kofa said it here, that he's a Catholic, his own Catholic belief. I was born and raised Catholic too. But it's called opportunity. I'm just assuming that if President Bouakai playing this stuff or was in Kohu, he could say, okay, I'm going to Rome. Fonadi Kofa is a Catholic, he's a speaker, and it's like the Muslim people going to Mecca. So let me see if I can use that as an opportunity to invite Fonadi Kofa to come with me on this trip. If Fonadi Kofa, stop. You said Francis the invitation was extended to him, and he went because he always wanted to meet the Pope. So this could be it's possible it could be a setup. I'm not confirming what Brother Francis is saying.
Yeah,
but it could be that's why President Bogart probably did say, okay, I'm going to room, so I'm going to invite the speaker and set up a coup behind him because he will want to meet the Pope. So I will take him with me. That's what I'm saying. So you can say,
yours is adding up. At least when you say problem, but Francis D said for facts. Go ahead, Ature.
You know, look, at the end of the day, man, these things will always come to replay themselves. If you listen to that interview yesterday with Stanton, Fanatic, he made it clear. They asked him a question. Are we going to be seeing you around the president anytime? He said, maybe going back to Rome. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, he said it. They asked him, are we going to see you bodying with the president? He said, if an opportunity, and I'm not using his words, probably paraphrasing it, maybe another opportunity to go to Rome. He's a devout Catholic, right? I would take any opportunity to go to Mecca. I mean, you know what I'm saying? So look, gentlemen, Afra once again, just because, and I totally agree, in Africa the executive do have enormous power. I get that, but maybe JMB did not want to be seen like that. That's why he allowed that situation to play itself out with absolutely interfering. And I think that was absolutely, we should all look at that and say, you know what, that is right. Because at the end of the day, if we subscribe to an idea of democracy with a 3 branches of government kind of arrangement that we have, where one institution does not override another, then guess what? Let's allow each branch to exert its own power and independence.
Thank you.
All right? That's exactly what it is. And Amy, to your point, for raised a point that you actually, on a previous show that you raised, where everybody were kind of like blaming Joseph Boakai for not really taking action against institutions that he, gave power to, right? And he said, and I quote, that it is the public prerogative to raise these concerns, but then if the president failed to react on these concerns raised, then we can take it up against the president. But until then, institutions should be liable for anything they do. Thank you very much.
Go ahead.
Me?
Mr. Goga, yeah, you.
Oh, you called me Mr. Goga, you were still on his house. All right. You know, sometimes people like people, they love people for whatever reason. It is their right. It is my right to express my thought. Okay? President Barker is the head of the state. Whether we like it or not. There is nothing happening in our country that Joseph Barker is not responsible. Somebody who has an executive power to appoint over 3,500 human beings. So now they don't even finish until they say they're finished. Another issue here is, Funati said the Speaker office has 60 human beings. For God in heaven's sake. One person that ain't really making significant impact on the lives of Liberians. Got 60 human beings that they employ at will. Nobody can question it. There are so many nyama things in that place. President Walker is on record giving money to the former central bank governor to let go the lawsuit because they fired the man illegally. Okay? So when you sit here in your small corner and just say the thing we say here, we know nothing, we are novice, we don't understand nothing, 1 + 1 is not 2, or 2 + 2 is not 4. Good news. We understand the political dialectics of Liberia. You don't have to agree with me. I'm not going to agree with you. But the fact of the matter is, the executive, as enshrined in the Constitution of 1986, is responsible to enforce the law. The Supreme Court opinion is a case law must be enforced by the executive. President Walker refused and reneged on his responsibility as a head of the executive. That is on record. That case law will live on generation to come. That this man said he's going to work with the men that have the quorum. Funati did not have a quorum. Even if Funati had a quorum, he's not going to work with.
Am I muted?
No. You are
Okay,
not
thank
muted.
you.
I'm not muted. I'm saying flight.
No, you been
I am
here
done.
2
So my
minutes
30 second
already.
done.
2 minutes already. It was 30
Okay.
seconds. You got 2 minutes.
Hey, my own minute can go up like crazy because I'm
No.
saying things that people don't want to hear, but you just live with it because you're going to keep hearing it as long as I'm on the show.
Go ahead.
It don't have to be. It don't have to sound like truth to you. Just accept it and let's move on. Right, Afra?
You
No,
need me to
I
go on?
can't tolerate. I don't have to accept it. I can listen to it.
You want me to go on?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
No.
All right, thank you. So quickly, let me put my research doctorate man over there to work. So Francis, your argument is what we in Latin is called argumentum ad hominem. You go do the research now. Jara will
Can
say
you
that you
please
don't want to
tell the
research.
Liberian people here? Yeah, that's what we're here for.
Yeah,
Yes, some of
no,
us
that
trying.
will break
We
it
had
down.
our
That will research
Elvin,
our last
Elvin,
colloquy
the
here.
research
We can
will
do the
break it
same
down later
too.
on.
Okay.
leave Elvin.
Okay. Argumentum ad hominem. They don't know what it means. So
I will,
Francis,
No,
are
I
you
will
one
okay?
for one.
interpret
You
it.
guys don't know what it means.
Let
We're
me,
here to
I
convince
will
one
interpret
another.
it the same way the Supreme Court interpreted rules.
Exactly. So we're here to speak the last colloquy we can speak. If I'm here doing it, you have to do the same thing too.
All right.
Let's leave all the
Thank
big
you.
words
So,
and speak the
look,
colloquy to the Liberian people.
look, here's the thing. People can want to beat. Imagine my own good friend, Francis Jabate, saying that we should accept his assumption. Do you think that your assumption is what we should take on the show seriously? That the president is the one, and you
Francis
say
didn't say that. Francis D said that.
Francis said, let's assume.
I didn't say that.
Francis said, let's assume that the president invited Funanti and took him over there and the on-seat team. There's not an assumption. That's what he meant. So I'm telling you that we're not accepting that assumption that you're making. So the president did not carry Funanti on any trade for him to be removed. So that's why I told Francis from inception that the two Francis over there, I told them, we're not agreeing on any of the argument today. So the argument is argumentum ad hominem. So my brother Jarahu will interpret that later on. But
thank you.
We are reaching to a serious point. And the serious point we are reaching now in our body politics is that people will leave the real issue when you give them one topic for us to discuss it, they'll leave it. Then they go specifically to show that bitterness on one person. This is not the reason why we're sitting wasting our time on the show for.
Thank you.
So let us go directly. Today we are discussing what happened in the House of Legislature, the processes that was involved, how Musa Belete, was defeated, and what happened with the majority of the people still reaffirming that they in support of the speaker that they elected today. And we say credit to all of those guys who
2 minutes too. Thank you.
Hey, Amy, man. Amy, don't do that to me. You yourself were interrupting me. You're telling me I should break something down that you don't want to take my
minute. I've been
minute.
saying thank you for 5 minutes now.
Thank you. Thank you.
Where are you coming from?
Nothing. Okay, nothing. Thank you very much. Let me just conclusively conclude now.
Let me conclude.
Let me conclude nothing because Amy was just saying thank you. So I thought you were agreeing with my argument.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Continue, my man. What are you talking? So okay. So Musa Belete came with his agenda. Today we're discussing legislative politics, and we already see that the money when there was transfer window, the political transfer window shut down, and in the end, some contract when the contract never materialized, so some men went back to the camp, and then in the end, the election was successful and the people won. Nobody must ever think in a manner President Baga used the money to go tell people to go vote for Richard Kuhn. That is a fallacy.
Oh, but you're sitting here saying that Musa Belete gave people money, but they don't say for him, right?
Musa announced it on the show.
Everybody,
thank you.
So guys,
Everybody
we really have to go. Hello.
Let's say you and Sandy. I was trying to make it up, but everybody want to take 5 minutes.
So, guys, we really have to go.
No, see, 2% had. I mean, 3% had to make that point. Everybody else want to boycott and take 5 minutes.
So who are the 2 persons
remaining?
While the 2 persons remaining to make that point, they can do that. So we'll wrap up, please, guys.
Go ahead, Cindy.
Well, I mean, for me, I'm just sitting here and hearing all the back and forth, and who exchange money, and it seems that we are not trying to move this country forward. I mean, from this show, we can tell that it's all about our political side, our political alignment. I mean, what happened in the past happened. What happened in the House was clear. This thing went on for over 7 months. We have debated this thing here, talk about this thing here. Today, there was an election held. Was I in support of Rachel Kuhn becoming speaker? No. I mean, Rachel Kuhn as a speaker, that was not what I would go for. But Rachel Kuhn is a speaker. We just have to move on. So I'm going to end on the show tonight by saying again, congratulations to Speaker Kuhn. I want to encourage Speaker Kuhn, though, to now reconcile the House. We cannot underestimate the hurt. We cannot try to ignore the pain from across the aisle, especially on the side of the quote-unquote minority bloc, whose members were suspended, in most of us' opinion, illegally, and that affected them financially. So I will hope that Speaker Kuhn will reconcile the House. I will also hope that the House can look at their rules and maybe try to restructure the rules to really resemble, constitutional or legal rules that will govern their operation.
Thank you.
But we got to move on as a country. We now have a speaker. I want to thank also the Honorable J. Funati Kofa for his service as Speaker of the House of Representatives. And I'm glad that he's staying on to serve his district, to complete his term. And I'm encouraging all of us, man, that we move on as a nation. Let's think Liberia. Let's love Liberia. Let's rebuild our country.
Thank you, Cindy. Go ahead, AB.
Yeah, thank you so much. So I don't see why my friend and brother continue to implicate our dynamic president. I don't see it. But he sounds like sweet wine with lack of substances. The man that you were telling on for him to be able to hold on to power, the man has saw his own defeat. It is 7 months, it's not 7 days. 7 months in the legislature without pay, without taking your doisier home. That is not a joke. 7 months without paying your staff, that is not a joke. So your man saw all of that, and he decided for him to be able to resign. He did an honorable thing for him to be able to resign.
Thank you.
So, huh?
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Leah.
So, So are we done?
Go ahead, Leah, please.
Oh, go ahead, Nancy. Go ahead. We're done.
Yeah,
no, we're
guys.
not done. What do you mean we're
done?
done? I haven't done my closing yet.
Yeah. So, Emmy, please do quickly. So.
Okay. So, congratulations to Speaker Kuhn, and congratulations to Speaker Kofa. He'll always be speaker to me. Once a speaker, always a speaker. Once a president, always a president in my book. So I'm gonna call him Speaker Kofa. He like you said, fought a good fight. I hope that this would have been over earlier, but he from the beginning, I don't think what was going on with him was right, but I had to switch aside from what I seen happening. I love my country, and I want to see the best for Liberia. It doesn't matter who sits there, because when you say something that benefits whoever in power, and people think you're fanatic, they call you that, but that's their business. They have their side, and they are political, and I'm not political. I'm here to talk for Liberia. That's why I'm here. And that now that we are settled, like my brother said, he said we should move on instead of pulling. Oh, the president did it. The president do that one. The president kidnapped that one. The president do that one. It's not true, and we're not staying here for it either. for our people to be misled. So we're gonna sharpen the contradiction in their lives about that to try to perforate. So that's what we're here about. For at the end of the day, Liberia won today. I think everybody was peaceful at the Capitol building, and like we heard today, so that's not saying that all of these things that are happening, even across Grace said the same thing. At the end of the day, these people go somewhere and be knocking about it. We don't want to be here and be all bitter and be trying to and tear each other something and be doing all of that. But at the end of the day, all that show they be putting up with, they go and they're still friends. You will see them. There will be something why some people are still being bitter because they're from the other party and they're from the other party, and that it shouldn't be like that. We argue that the issue, and at the end of the day, we are all Liberians, and we should let it go and stop being vindictive and being, sour about it and being something and hitting somebody because they were on the other side and the other side did not win. I don't think it's good for our country. And yeah, Liberia wins. Let's go. And rescue train, let's do this. We want to see all of the premise. You got a speaker, you got a pro tem. Let's see what's next. Thank you.
And thank you, Emmy. Thank you, Emmy. Thanks to everyone. It's been a great show. We look forward to being here again.
So is that closing, my people?
Thank you.
Yeah, that's closing. Francis, we have to go.
Oh, yeah, you want to be on that, Francis?
So can you come back? I want to say thanks to everyone.
I mean, no, we usually don't close like that for the Nise. That's the reason I'm asking.
I mean, I'm sorry about nursing.